Have you wondered whether you could pack carry-on only for travelling overseas? Today I'm going through my carry-on packing list for 2 weeks overseas, and you can pack along with me. I have carry-on packing tips and more. Join this committed baggage checker in learning how to pack it all in carry-on luggage only. Welcome to Linky Lifestyle. I'm Mardi and I've been travelling for over 25 years with my husband Michael, so we love to share our expertise with you to help you plan holidays that aren't just fun but truly unforgettable. When I travel overseas, I always check a medium or large suitcase. It's always seemed easier that way. I can take what liquids I like and I can also take some nice to have items. But travelling domestically, I rarely check a bag. So obviously I don't have any problem with packing carry-on only. Is the need to check a bag for overseas trips all in my head? For longer, more involved trips, like the 6-week holiday we had in Canada, the USA and Bermuda last year, I wanted to take enough toiletries and over-the-counter medications to last the whole trip, to avoid spending money on things I already had at home, especially since the Australian dollar has a terrible exchange rate. So in that situation, I'll always check a bag. But what about shorter trips? We went to Singapore, London and Frankfurt for just over 2 weeks last May, and for the two of us we checked one large and one medium suitcase. Travelling over there, we packed in the medium and put it inside the large to allow space for purchases and souvenirs when we came home. We also had carry-on size suitcases and a personal item each, although our personal items weren't maximising our allowance. Mine was a sling bag and Michael's was a small messenger bag, which makes me wonder, if we'd taken the maximum allowable size personal item each, could we have done it carry-on only? Of course, I did buy 2 pairs of shoes, a handbag, a coffee table book and a box of skincare in London that I would have struggled to bring home in a carry-on situation, but I probably wouldn't have bought all that if I knew there was going to be nowhere to pack it. Let's see how I go. Replicating packing for that particular trip has one big benefit to packing carry-on only. It was spring in London and Frankfurt and the weather forecast was for warm, mostly sunny days. And of course Singapore is always hot. This meant I didn't need to take any bulky outerwear, even though it was late autumn at home and quite chilly on the early morning in Canberra when we departed. But we weren't going to be outside for long. Taxi to the airport and from then on indoors pretty much until we got to Singapore, which was, of course, warm and very humid, even at midnight when we arrived. I've recreated my packing list from that trip with travelling carry-on only in mind. Firstly, I'll decide what I need access to in the plane and then what bags and pouches to pack it all in. I'll need to decide what luggage to use too, more on that later. I've done a video on my long-haul flying necessities, so I won't go over that in too much detail. Then I'll use packing cubes to organise clothes by type. Dresses and other clothes in one, underwear in another, and one for clothes I want to access on the plane. And finally, bags and pouches for toiletries, makeup and other small items. I reconsidered how to combine some of my usual organising cases and pouches, particularly for my in-flight needs. I usually have a tech case, an essentials bag and a clear liquids bag in flight, and for the rest of my trip I have a bedside bag in my checked luggage. Since the bedside bag will be in my carry-on this time, and there's some overlap in what these bags hold, I've reviewed their contents and I've dropped the essentials bag. I did this by putting things from that into the other bags. My tech case, which contains Nightcore NB10000 power bank, Bose noise cancelling headphones and an AirFly, my AirPods and the silicone neck cord, my small charging essentials bag, which contains a small plug-in charger, which has 3 USB ports. It has US plugs, but it comes with adapters for AU, UK and EU power, and I've packed all them as well. USB cables, and a folding watch, AirPods and phone charger. I also have my bedside bag and it contains tissues, foot cream in a small container, one of my prescription medications that comes in a gel form, hand cream, lip balm, saline nasal spray and the decongestant nasal spray, pillow spray, a contact lens case with my prescription medications for the night on the plane, just to make it easy to get to, all my prescription medications for the trip, my iron and vitamin C supplement, some melatonin gummies, and over-the-counter painkillers and antihistamines and things. My liquids bag. At the top, I have a Ziploc bag with the things that I will want to access on the plane. a moisturiser, tinted moisturiser, oil, facial sunscreen, body sunscreen, lip balm with sunscreen in it, a hydrating serum, an eye cream, hydrating mask, hydrating spray, eyebrow gel, toothpaste, and that's everything. In the rest of the bag I have cleansers, perfume, dry shampoo, moisturiser for mornings, foundation, which is in this really handy little airless pump bottle that I bought from Amazon. I have my serums, and the two big orange tubes at the bottom are my body lotion. I use a lot of body lotion. I don't know if it's autism or the fact I've got dry eczema skin, but if I don't put it on, I just can't stand the feeling that my skin has of being all sort of dry and scratchy. So body lotion is probably my biggest dilemma, because if I take two 100ml tubes like I have here, that's probably just about enough for 2 weeks, but it's an awful lot to carry around. Would I be better off taking one and buying another one when I'm over there? Assuming I can find one. You can't always find body lotion in smaller tubes. So for this I've packed both. It fits, but there is a lot of stuff here, as you can see. And then there's my tripped toiletries bag. So this holds all the rest of my toiletries. It has a hook, which is great because then I can hang it and I don't have to unpack it all. I can have access to everything without having to unpack it. And in it I have suction hooks, dental floss, anti-chafing rub, my toothbrush body, my toothbrush head with a silicone cover, matches for smelly toilet smells with a scrunchie around them because the box is broken, a tin with a nail clipper, a cuticle clipper, and I don't know, something else in it, tissues, a nail buffer that, well, TMI, but it's good for getting those sharp edges off toenails. And I've got my Matador soap pack bag, which has my shampoo and conditioner bars, and it also has a small bar of soap in there because the last few places we've stayed haven't had a body wash, or they haven't had enough body wash to run out in the middle of our stay. So I always have a little soap bar in there now just in case we need it. In this pocket I have my deodorant. Got to find a better solution than this. It's not a liquid, which is great, but it's so bulky. The actual piece of deodorant in there is only about this big. I think I might try pulling it out and smushing it into a little container and then just putting it on with my fingers. I tried doing the melt it and put it in a lip balm thing, but this deodorant doesn't seem to melt for some reason. And then I melted a different brand and I put it in the lip balm thing and it all ran out the bottom. There must have been a hole in it. So that was a bit of a failure. On this side I've got my scrubbing mitt and my foot file, which used to have a handle, but I got Michael to saw it off so that I could fit it in things. On the outside, this compartment is the same as this compartment, so I can access those things from either side. When I packed, I put anything I wanted to access on the plane in here. So I have balm cleansing wipes, deodorant wipe, cleansing wipes, the type with a micellar water in them, my brush and comb, another deodorant wipe for the way home, and my small mirror. This bag detaches, so I've used it for my makeup. Again, I've got a small Ziploc bag with the things I might want on the plane, so I've got a blush, a mascara, cotton buds, and a retractable fluffy brush for putting on the blush. I've got this little Muji pen box with an eyeshadow crayon, a liquid eyeliner, a pencil eyeliner, a brush for blending in the crayon, an eyebrow brush, and this eyebrow pencil, which actually needs to go in the Ziploc bag. Then I have setting powder. I've just ordered some smaller versions of these from Amazon, but they haven't showed up yet. Travel size Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow, which is a contour and a highlighter. Pencil sharpener without its lid because it keeps falling off, so it's annoying. Small pair of scissors. Hopefully security won't take them from me. They haven't yet. Under eye concealer. A NARS lipstick, which is Cruella, an old Clinique lipstick, raspberry glacé. They used to give you these in every single gift pack. Travel size tweezers, a hair clip, and my brushes. The other things that go in my personal item are my rain jacket, although it could go in the suitcase I suppose, my collapsible bottle, pair of hotel slippers which I have in this shoe bag. They're very thin. Oh, and my little jewellery bag. It's just got my rings and watch bands in it, along with my DJI camera and the microphone that goes with it, a small bendy tripod, a clip-on light. Then there's what I call health and comfort items, my folding medication organiser, compression stockings, my prescription medications, hand sanitizer, handheld fan, tenagui or Japanese towel, nasal decongestant and saline nasal spray, pillow spray, tissues, collapsible water bottle and yoga toes. Finally, there's all the miscellaneous stuff. A collapsible food container, suction hooks, insulated mug, small and large jewellery trays, laundry sheets and dishwasher tablets, lingerie bag, luggage scale, over-the-door hooks, folding scissors, sewing kit and a Sharpie. That sounds like a lot of stuff to pack. Can I do it? I have my doubts right now. Do you love refining your packing system for various situations? It's part of the enjoyment of the trip for me, and it's something I love doing. So if that's your thing too, just click below to subscribe and then comment with your favourite packing tip. It'd be great if you'd subscribe. Our goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of April. In my handbag I have my passport wallet with our passports, credit cards, Qantas cash card and driver's licence, fold-up shopping bag, glasses cloth, hero clip, pen and my EDC pouch holding breath mints, travel charm, hand cream, lip balm, shout wipes, tiny mirror, small scrunchie, small tin of medications, Swiss Care nail care card, tissues and a torch. I just wanted to mention this fantastic printer. I bought it from Amazon when I was in the US last year. It's just got thin labels like this. I just did a test one and stuck it on the back, and you use an app on your phone to do it. So when I'm labelling my toiletries, I can just whip it up on my phone, print the labels and stick them on. It's really easy. So I really recommend one of them, and I'll link to it in the description. When I pack my personal item, I try to put the things I want to access more often in the easier to access places. So in the Nomad Lane bag, one side of the clamshell you can access from a zipper at the top. The other side you have to open the whole clamshell to get in. I also don't want to put anything I need on the plane in the clamshell rollerboard hard-sided suitcase. That's because I don't want to have to juggle opening that suitcase. Who else finds that an extreme form of torture? First of all, you've got to pull it out of the overhead bin and try not to drop it on someone's head, and then I've got to balance it on the arms of my seat to unzip it and try to get the sides flat enough that I can unzip them to get things out. No thanks. I've packed a medium compression packing cube with my cardigan, compression socks, and a soft bra. Oh, and I need to put in a pair of undies for the plane. As you can see, I started off by packing my Nomad Lane bento bag as my personal item, but I don't think it's the way to go. I've never found it to be a very useful bag, sadly, because it promises a lot and it was expensive. When I watch videos of people packing in it for a week, I'm like, what? No way. I think my problem is that it's quite structured. It doesn't have a frame or anything, but every compartment's fullness affects the limited space within the bag. Here, I've got so much stuff in the more easily accessible side that I only just managed to squeeze my older, smaller and thinner laptop in, and if I was actually traveling, I don't think my 14-inch MacBook Pro would fit. Same with the iPad. I used an older one to pack, but my current one is a little bigger. My alternative was Michael's packed backpack. The Nomad Lane is 24 litres and this one's 35 litres, so in theory it's almost 50% bigger. I don't like wearing a backpack, but this has a luggage pass-through and the straps tuck away, so I use it more like a duffel bag. It opens clamshell style all the way around, but it also has zips at the top that allow you to access things in the top of the bag in mid-flight. Everything fitted in there, as you can see, and I also tried packing my handbag and its contents in there, but I've decided against that and I'll carry my handbag separately. I think it'll be easier to access passports, etc. if they're in a separate bag, and as you can see, packing the handbag in the packed backpack makes it very tight. I could put my handbag in my suitcase and just have the contents in the backpack, I guess. Of course, I'm lucky that I have reasonably high status with the airlines I'm travelling on, plus I'm travelling business class on Qantas, British Airways and Emirates, so a third item is usually overlooked. If I recall correctly, I got on all planes with a rolling suitcase, the sling and my handbag last year. If for some reason there was a problem, I'd have room in the backpack to pack the handbag and transfer the contents, so I do have a fallback position. Now for the suitcase. In a large packing cube, I'm packing 3 dresses. I'll be wearing a 4th. Yes, with only 4 outfits, I will feel like burning them at the end of 2 weeks, but I want to keep my clothes to a minimum. And I'll have access to washing facilities for 8 days in London. I'll pack my black denim jacket and I'll have my grey cardigan, which is in my personal item, and black leggings, which I'll wear at the start of the trip because it will be cold in the early morning when I set off. I'm also going to wear a scarf to travel, which I'll make sure goes with all of the dresses. And I'll pack a t-shirt for sleeping in, which can also be worn with the leggings and cardigan if I want a casual look. Then of course there's underwear in another packing cube. I'll also pack the sandals, the hair drying brush, my hanging medications organiser, yoga toes and power adapters for my hair drying brush. My makeup mirror and jewellery trays always go with me, as does my microfiber hair towel. Something I managed to pack that I would have not taken if there wasn't space for it is a collapsible container. I had a gastric sleeve surgery done nearly 6 weeks ago, and so now when I eat, I only eat small amounts. So if I'm going out to restaurants and things, it's nice to be able to pack up the food I didn't and eat and have it another time. Another thing that I was happy I managed to pack was my insulated mug. I like my tea hot, and this keeps it hot for quite a while, especially if I put the lid on. I also packed laundry sheets and dishwasher tablets for the apartment in London and a lingerie bag for washing underwear. I used the Away small carry-on suitcase, but if I'd needed to, I have an Away large carry-on as well. The small measures 55 by 37 by 23 centimetres and holds 39.8 litres. The larger measures 58 by 39 by 24 centimetres and holds 47.9 litres. There's a risk though that the larger carry-on may not fit some airline carry-on bag requirement, but I've never had a bag measured, so it's probably okay, and the worst that could happen would be that I'd have to check it in. I'm happy that I didn't need to use the larger Away carry-on, but it's good to know that it's an option. The personal item was the hardest. I still seem to have way too much in the toiletry makeup category, but I'm just not sure how to minimise there. Like I said, body lotion is one of the things that gives me a real challenge. I'm slightly fussy about what I use, but not to the extent of only having one brand or something like that. And as you saw, those 2 tubes did fit in my liquids bag. This kind of bugs me still. I guess I'll have to get over it. Sunscreen and dry shampoo are 2 of the other bigger liquids. I don't think I can do much about sunscreen, other than take a smaller amount and buy whilst travelling, but I prefer not to plan to purchase while I'm away. I must try a dry shampoo powder. I've heard the Brio Geo, I think it is, one is good. Having dark hair, I've always thought that having a powder version would make me look a bit grey, but I saw someone on YouTube recommending it and she had dark hair. And I really want to find a solution for deodorant that isn't a liquid, but isn't a massive package for a smallish amount of product. Like I said, maybe depotting it into a smaller container and using fingers is the way to go, and I'll try it next time I'm travelling. Travelling in warmer weather makes it considerably easier to pack light. For our trip to Canada and the USA, I took 4 or 5 dresses, but they were heavier, bulkier fabric. Then I had 2 pairs of leggings, a couple of pairs of opaque tights, boots and outerwear. And when I packed for this pretend trip, one dress was able to be more or less scrunched into a ball to fit into a corner. That's the sort of fabric I need to consider for the future. I don't wear jeans, but it always amazes me that people pack them. I did pack my denim jacket, but it was my one outer layer and it's so old it's pretty soft these days. Michael always takes jeans and I find they take up at least half a large packing cube each. I keep trying to get him to buy some lighter weight pants for travel, so I'll keep working on that. Of course, he has way less toiletries and nice to have items than me, so it probably works out about the same. On the other hand, he likes to take his massive DSLR camera and about 3 lenses everywhere, even though he never seems to use it, so perhaps that's what I need to work on. So let's see, what else did I learn? Well, I cheated a bit. You probably noticed that I had liquids in places that weren't my liquids bag, but to be honest, I can't remember the last time I had to remove liquids from my bag, so I think it's a pretty safe gamble. And when I have had to remove them, I've still had the odd thing like hand cream in my handbag or somewhere that didn't get picked up by security. When I was packing initially, I did manage to squish all the liquids into the liquids bag, but it was so full it looked like it was about to burst. If I was travelling with Michael, which I always do when I'm travelling overseas, I could use his liquids bag too. He shares all my toiletries like toothpaste and deodorant and isn't fussy about shampoo, so he uses the hotel or cruise ship stuff. I think he only ends up with cologne in his liquids bag. I noticed I had a small amount of room left in the backpack and the suitcase, plus that backpack has the hidden expansion pocket, so I'd still be able to buy some things while I was travelling. Maybe not 2 pairs of shoes and all the other stuff though. And that leads me to another learning about packing. It's like one of those laws of nature. You will pack to fill the space you have available. So, if you want to reduce the amount you're travelling with, start by setting a target for a smaller bag. For our 6-week trip, I took a massive makeup bag, and sure enough, I pretty much filled it. In preparing for and filming this, I learned some things about how I pack, and I hope I've given you some ideas too. So, to hear about what I packed for 6 weeks overseas and my essentials and regrets, click here. And to find out more about lightening your toiletry load, click here. Bye for now.